Did you know that more than 2/3 of people who purchased a home in the last 2 years regret something about their purchase? In a market like San Francisco, where the median home price is above $1 million, that regret hits differently. In today's video, I'm breaking down the 5 biggest reasons San Francisco homebuyers are regretting their purchases. I'll also give you an insider's tip on exactly how you can avoid each one. If you wouldn't mind doing me a favor, I would like you to hold on to this one specific question because it connects all 5 of them. Does this home expand your life or does it box you in? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what I mean. Just to be crystal clear before we get started, this video is not designed to scare you out of buying. I believe that buying real estate, when done the correct right way, is one of the best investments you can make in your entire life. The buyers that I tend to see who have the most regret are the ones that buy without having a full clear picture. These mistakes are typically completely avoidable. You just have to do the work up front before you close, not after. Hey everyone, by the way, my name's Alex Epstein and I'm a lifelong San Franciscan and realtor here in the Bay Area. If you're ever looking to buy, sell, invest, or even rent a home in or near San Francisco, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. My contact information can be found below. And with that, let's get back into the video. So now let's talk about what that actually looks like. Regret number 1, underestimating the cost of home ownership. Unfortunately, many people who buy real estate tend to only look at their mortgage payment rather than looking at the full picture. And I get it. You get pre-approved, you look at your monthly payment, and it looks manageable. The reality is that there's much more to owning a property than just the mortgage payment itself. The correct thing to do is to actually sit down and go through the numbers in detail for what it's like to own a home in San Francisco on a month-to-month basis. I'm going to call this the San Francisco ownership stack. This is what I wish every purchaser in San Francisco understood before falling in love with a property. Here's what the stack looks like. First, you have the mortgage. This is what everyone already understands and realizes. Next, you have property taxes. And this is what gets reassessed at the purchase with the purchase price. After that, we have homeowners insurance. And most people understand that that is a requirement, especially if you're getting a mortgage. Then after that, and this is where many get surprised, is where you have your HOA fees. In San Francisco, condos are the most common entry point for first-time home buyers. I'll tell you this, HOA fees in the city are not typically small. On the low end, you might see $400 to $600 a month, but on the high end, you can easily see $1,200 a month. That cost ultimately depends on the building, and that's before you even take into account any repairs, maintenance, or other financial burdens that might come up. Here's what this actually looks like with a real world example. A buyer might qualify for a mortgage that puts them in the $900,000 to $950,000 range. They search for properties and come across a 1-bedroom condo that has everything you would want. A great neighborhood, parking, in-unit laundry, all the bells and whistles. The mortgage is gonna run right around $5,500 a month, which based on the pre-approval sounds manageable. Then they end up closing and the first month of home ownership actually hits them. Sure, the mortgage is $5,500 a month, but property taxes are another $1,000 on top of that. Insurance is another $150 a month on top of that. And finally, the HOA is another $850 a month. You're easily at $7,500 a month before you add anything on top of that. That gap between what they budgeted and what reality is where the regret starts. It's not because the home itself wasn't great. It's because they didn't fully understand the payment before diving all the way in. I hate to see this myself. This happens more often than you'd think, and I hate to see it because it's fully avoidable. Regret number 2. Buying the property and not the neighborhood. This one is more personal than the first, and honestly, I see it more often. Inevitably, people looking will find a place they love. The unit is beautiful, the photos are great, and the price works. Then you buy it, and a few weeks into owning it, something hits you. At first, you might not be able to put your finger on it. This feeling actually has a name. It's called location mismatch. In San Francisco, this is quite common. We have a ton of neighborhoods, and choosing one can be overwhelming. Our areas are not interchangeable, even though listing agents might make it seem that way. On the contrary, they're quite distinct. Here's what I mean. If you're searching for homes and you're looking online, eventually, while you're looking at kitchen and primary bedroom photos, they all start to blend in. A 1-bedroom in the outer Sunset doesn't look that distinct from a 1-bedroom in Nopa or a 1-bedroom in the Excelsior district. While that is the case, the daily life in those neighborhoods couldn't be more different. I practically grew up in the outer Sunset and it's a neighborhood that I love. But if your picture of San Francisco involves great nightlife or an energy of a walkable urban neighborhood, then this is not where you're going to find it. The sunset feels quiet in a way that takes some people off guard. The fog is real and the pace is slower here. That works for some people, but it does not work for others. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Nopa and Hayes Valley have a great corridor that many people love to walk. It makes the neighborhood feel alive and you can get to just about anything easily. To get that, here you're paying a premium for it. You have smaller spaces, more noise to deal with, and older buildings. On the other hand, the Mission has culture, food, warmth, and one of the best parks in the entire city. But even there has changed a lot. The price points have shifted significantly and the feel block by block varies. The point is not that one neighborhood is better than the other. The point is that they are all completely unique and different from one another. So my advice is that before you buy a property, buy the neighborhood. Ask yourself if your real daily life fits in there. Most buyers I see that have location regret didn't ask this question until it was too late. Quick question before we keep going here. If you wouldn't mind, I would love to get a comment down below which neighborhood your favorite is. That way, the next time I do a location deep dive, it might be on the neighborhood that you call out in my comments. Regret number 3, purchasing too much home. I want to be careful with this one because in San Francisco, stretching to purchase a home is quite normal. Prices are high here, so for many, it feels like you have to push all your chips to the table just to get in. That logic makes sense, but there's a difference between stretching to be able to afford a home and stretching so hard so that you can barely breathe. Unfortunately, a lot of buyers in San Francisco end up on the wrong side of this and end up stretching so far with little to no room to breathe. Here's what buying too much home in real life actually looks like. The payment is technically affordable, meaning that you can make that without a problem every month. However, there's no margin. That means there's no money to travel, no money for a job change or pay cut, no savings runway. And when something unexpected comes up, and it inevitably will, you might try to dip into reserves that you might not actually have. In San Francisco, I specifically see this happening with people who have variable incomes, stock compensation, bonuses, commission income, business owners. When the market is good, the payment feels fine. But when the market shifts, that payment might feel like a financial burden and weight over your shoulders. This is not always something that you can easily fix. Obviously, you can refinance if rates drop, but the purchase price is set in stone. The property taxes are what they are. The HOA doesn't typically go down. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, does this house serve your life or are you serving the house? A home is supposed to give you more freedom, not less. If the payment has paused every other financial priority you've ever had in your life, that's reason to pause. Regret number 4, purchasing a condo that doesn't fit the future. This one hits home in San Francisco because it's where many first-time homebuyers get their start. Condos are typically the most accessible price point. There's nothing wrong with that. Buying a condo in San Francisco can absolutely be a smart, long-term financial investment. However, a lot of buyers tend to focus on what their life looks like today rather than being forward-thinking. Something that makes sense today might not make sense in 5 to 7 years from now. Things change. A relationship might change. You might want a pet. You might want to start a family. You might want outdoor space. You might want to start traveling. You may easily begin to realize that the condo you purchased for today does not accommodate your future life. And here's the thing about that. You can easily update a kitchen. You can repaint, renovate, and upgrade finishes. Those things, like many others in a home, are fixable. The things that tend to leave lasting regret are the things that are permanent. Having no private outdoor space is not going to change. Building pet restrictions likely will not change. HOA rules on rentals and owner occupancy requirements likely are not going to change. Shared walls, elevator buildings, need I say more? You get it. And by the way, a lot of the things I just mentioned are the case in San Francisco. Again, we're going to go back to the central question at hand. Does this home expand your life or does it box you in? A condo may absolutely expand your life, but the question needs to be asked. Can this serve you for the next 5 years or just today? If there's a voice in your head saying that this probably won't work long term, you probably should listen to that. Regret number 5, waiting for the perfect market. This one is for the people who have not yet purchased and are sitting on the most expensive financial decision of their life. Here's the truth about San Francisco real estate. Waiting for the perfect market has historically been one of the most expensive strategies that buyers have used in San Francisco. I hear the same conversation every year. Rates are too high, so I'm waiting. Prices are too high, so I'm waiting. The market feels uncertain, so I'm going to wait. I want to see if prices come down a little bit, so I'm going to wait. Does any of this sound familiar? The truth is, I understand each and every one of those concerns. Shoot, they've crossed my brain before. Here's what happens when you actually wait. Before purchasing, unless you live at home with your parents or something like that, you're going to continue paying rent, which in San Francisco, for many, can easily be $3,500 a month or even $5,000 a month. During that time, you're not building equity and you don't have a locked-in cost basis. You're betting on conditions to change meaningfully before you actually dive in. Unfortunately, we live in a city that has one of the most constrained housing supplies in the entire country. San Francisco is geographically locked. There is no sprawl. Regulations limit new construction. The number of homes available to buy is not looking like it's going to significantly increase anytime soon. That doesn't mean that prices go straight up forever. Nothing goes in a straight line like that. But it does mean that qualified buyers are rarely served waiting for perfect market conditions. I want to be very clear about what I'm saying here. I'm not saying to purchase before you're truly ready. Do not ignore the numbers or rush into a situation that you're not comfortable with. That's actually how you end up on the first 4 regrets on the list. What I am trying to say is this: if you are financially ready and you've done the work, then market timing becomes much less important. The buyers I see with the most timing regret weren't unprepared. They were ready and ended up talking themselves out of the deal. Many times this repeats itself and they're waiting for a signal that never comes clear. So lastly now, we're gonna go over how to buy in San Francisco without regret. Fortunately, every single thing we just covered is totally avoidable. Let me give you a step-by-step breakdown on exactly how. Number 1, build your true monthly number before you tour anything. Not just the mortgage, but rather the full ownership stack. Mortgage, property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA fees, and a true reserve. If you're looking at condos, which many first-time home buyers in San Francisco are, then make sure you truly look at the HOA financials and reserve study. Remember, if the numbers feel tight on paper, they will feel tight after closing. Step number 2, reverse engineer the neighborhood before you pick a property. Before you look at a single listing, map your actual week. Where do you work? Where do you tend to socialize after work? What routines matter to you? Remember that the neighborhood you're choosing is not the unit. It's the life associated with that address. Step 3, know what you cannot change. Make your non-negotiables list around the permanent features rather than cosmetic ones. Think of things like location, layout, outdoor space, building type, HOA rules, commute, neighborhood character. Those are actually baked in. A renovation can be a weekend's decision. A building with no outdoor space and restrictive rental restrictions is a part of your daily life that's unchangeable. Understand this difference before you write an offer. Step 4, filter every decision through a central question. Before you make an offer, ask yourself this directly. Does this home expand my life or does it box me in? Think of this: financial flexibility, lifestyle alignment, long-term adaptability. That question touches all 3. If you can't answer that clearly, you're not ready to buy the property. Step 5, buy with a 5 to 7 year time horizon. San Francisco is not a short-term market. The transaction costs here are real. You have commissions, closing costs, and the friction of moving itself. You need time for the math here to work in your favor. Buy something that can hold up through the normal changes of life. As I stated before, career shifts, relationship changes, and pets. Life evolves faster than people expect. Ask whether a home can shift with these changes or if it's going to hinder you. Okay, now, so to wrap this up, regret does not come from buying a home in San Francisco. It comes from buying without the full picture of knowing what you're getting yourself into. True cost of ownership, neighborhood mismatch, buying too much home, a condo that doesn't fit the future, and waiting for the perfect market that never arrived. All 5 of these are avoidable, but the work needs to be done upfront before purchasing the property. And the filter that runs through all of this is one question: does this home expand your life or does it box it in? If you're thinking about buying in San Francisco and want to talk to me before ever looking at a listing, that's what I'm here for. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. If you're not ready to purchase yet, but want to get ahead of this, it would mean the world to me if you can like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with my local real estate content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.